Welcome to my baby account. I'm recording this intro here after playing about an hour or two, but what this account is for me to experience Save the World in the early game anew. You know, I'm coming back at it with over 7,700 hours of experience. I know exactly what's going on, and I want to try and have fun with it. So let's lay out some ground rules right away. No overleveled people or items within reason, meaning if I get into a public lobby and we get halfway through trapping the defense and some high-level player joins in, there's not a lot we can do about that. And if anybody from my stream wants to join in and play with me, they need to be no more than like 5 levels above me. That's kind of an arbitrary number, but I just want to keep it in check. Now, if any of those people use any high-level weapons, that's not cool. I'd rather people on my team not do that. But again, I cannot control what public people do. So I am going to try my best to use only my weapons. That's another thing I'm trying to do, is only using my weapons. That's not to say that I don't want anybody's help in any way. That's not to say that you and your friends shouldn't be helping each other out. That's just to say that I want to use my weapons that I looted in game or crafted myself, just to show that it is possible to have a quality experience without getting a 130 in your first game. Now that of course includes traps as well, but that should just about cover it. No overleveled players or items, and only using my own stuff. That's pretty much it. My goals are to make it to power level 130. We're going all the way to the end game. I want to do the 164 player challenges. I want to have endurance done in every single storm shield, and I might change that rule as soon as I get there, because endurance is a very slow grind, but it has been almost exclusively not covered on my channel. So it could actually be fun to see me tackle that in all the different zones. I know a lot of you would like to see that. We'll see how I feel when I get there. I at least want to do Storm Shield Defense 10 in every single zone. That much I can promise. Endurance is a maybe. And I definitely want to do the Mythic Storm King fight at the appropriate power level. I don't want to get carried. I don't want someone to bring me there. I want to do it at level 122, the normal, legit way that you're supposed to do it. And that's it. That's pretty much it. I'm starting this series at probably one of the worst times of the year in late November. We do have the Discharger coming out soon, albeit I don't actually plan to use this weapon that much, as it is extremely strong and may trivialize my experience. But I also just missed all of the dinos, totally rocking out. Clip is already gone. I don't have Fossil Southie. I know he's one of the dinos, but he's in his own category because it means farming is going to be quite a bit stifled. It's not going to be easy for me to do, but it is possible. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. A lot of people crutch on the strongest heroes, strongest weapons, and they feel like they can't play the game if they don't have everything given to them, and I am pushing against that stigma. In this series, I am trying to have fun with the game and play through it like a noob. So let's rewind the clock a couple of hours and begin this journey. Look at this, day 1 account, and they're just teetering a Super People Llama right in front of my face, and I can't even pick it up. Obviously, I want a fresh new account, which means I need to dial in all of my keybinds, which may or may not have had some unforeseen consequences. I don't have a vote button. I don't have a... I don't have a vote button. Open vote dialogue. What do I vote with B? Eventually, we got the vote started, and I figured this was a good time to talk about the account that I'm on. So this is a Founders account, and how did I get a new account with Founders? I did not. I bought it exactly the way you would have 4 or 5 years ago. I've been sitting on this account for a very long time because for a long time, I thought that this would actually be a good idea. I didn't want to do it for years and years. I enjoyed the endgame content, but you can see today I've changed my mind a little bit, and I thought this would be a fun series to start. So that means I'll be able to earn V-Bucks, and I'll have the Founders Revolt, and that's pretty much it. It was a $20 account when it was on sale back in some Christmas time, and that's what I'm working with. I won't have too many advantages other than the Founders Revolt and a couple of Founders Heroes, but I figured I might as well mention it. Oh, and it seems like our friend has something for us. Yeah. I expected that. Let me see what kind of perks we got on this thing. Oh, come on! You give me a bait. Why would... a bright core candy corn with the most basic... He didn't even change the perks! Is that how it came? Is that how it came? Bright core? Alright, let's see. Sunbeam at least. That's a strong start. You should watch Beast for best... You should watch Beast for best perks. What are these weapons? All right, let's see here. Sunbeam, it's not bad. It's not... Okay. he gets a passing grade. Not what I would use, but I can see those as defensible perks. That, I can at least understand that. I can at least understand. That's all right. Yeah, double attack speed. I can understand. If you're going for like a Paleo Luna hybrid build, I think you should commit to one or the other. You either want multiple perks, like crit damage perks for optimal crit damage if you're using Totally Rockin' Out. But double attack speed, yeah, if you want Paleo Luna in there, that's fine. But if you're going to be using Luna, let's just get triple attack speed going, you know? Like, commit. So that's what I'm saying. Like, those are defensible perks, at least. I just pick a lane. That's my suggestion. You know, triple crit damage or crit rating double crit damage and one attack speed, or triple attack speed and just go all Luna. You know, if you're doing both, it's fine. I mean, it's gonna work. You're gonna get the kills, but double attack speed, crit rating, crit damage. Yeah, not bad. Honestly, passing grade. I mean that. I actually do want to listen to Ray. Whoa! Don't talk about a man's Storm Shield. My Storm Shield's fine. After recovering from what Ray said to me, Storm Shield Defense 2 went off without a hitch, other than my smoke alarm going off for the entire recording. For your YouTube viewing pleasure, I am not sharing that audio, but I was essentially muted for the entire defense while I'm just sniping stuff in the head, or at least trying my best. So let's just move on to the next segment. After finishing Storm Shield Defense 2, I finally had a leader for my one survivor squad. So I slotted him in place, went up a power level, I think. I couldn't even tell. And then I built my very first early game hero loadout. We're going with Rescue Trooper Ramirez in the lead, then Survivalist Jonesy in support. And that's it. That's the whole loadout. Not a lot of options yet. After I put together my very first hero loadout, I moved on to a llama opening, where I ended up getting a new lead survivor, which of course meant I got to immediately update my survivor squad. And then tragedy struck. I accidentally turned on autofill, which showed me that I had set them up poorly. I should have known this from my own video, link in the description down below, but the rarity of survivors is actually a lot more important than the matching personality type at this level. Once you upgrade them to like tier 3 and beyond, you do want matching personality types, but yeah, autofill did a better job than I did. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I turned that right back off where it should be. I'll do the rest. With our next game, it brings me to my next talking point for this series, and that is loot in games. So, glowing animals exist nowadays, and they are a really good source of higher rarity items. And considering that you do not get the perk Recombobulator until about Plankerton Storm Shield Defense 2, I'm not even going to be able to reperk my weapons until at least Plankerton, and even then, I'm barely going to be able to afford it, and it's not going to make much of a difference. In Plankerton, you're really only changing blue perks, and then in Canny, you could finally change purple perks. It takes a long time to actually get some decently perked items. So, all of that is to say that the glowing animals and the chests that I loot and the storm chests and everything that gives me random weapons in game might actually end up being my main source of weapons. I don't think it even makes sense for a brand new player to be crafting their own weapons until at least mid to late Plankerton, until you actually get some really good schematics and the resources to reperk them the way that you want. So, I think it's kind of exciting. It's a bit freeing that I'm not going to have to worry about my schematics for a really long time. It's kind of like playing Ventures in the main game by just using loot that I find. It saves me on resources crafting them, so I don't have to farm so heavily. I don't have to worry about them breaking, because I'll probably just have another one by then. I don't have to worry about perks, because I can't worry anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Everything's good at that point, and it makes the game just a lot more fun to use weapons that I would never be using normally. And all of this is to say that Ventures for a brand new player is actually really fun, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Look at this dude. Dropping all that shit just to let it despawn. I'm sorry, dropping all that just to let it despawn. No! Oh god, don't touch the planks! Run away! Ugh. So what you saw there was longtime viewer Yeet Crab dropping all of the planks from his storage account. He knows that I don't want any high levels in my lobby, so he wanted to play with me at a lower power level. And to not interfere with our shared progress now, he wanted to dump some of his other resources just so he could be on a more even footing. And I did not ask him to do that, but I thought that was really cool. Look at him go. Even in the next game, he had filled up his backpack. Uh-oh. He had filled up his backpack and then just kept dropping. So, taming animals, let's talk about it. I feel like that's actually really good for early game players. In the end game, they are useless, not very helpful, and I don't really like them. I've actually sent animals off the map with Epic employees in chat, and apparently that got shared around the office and it lowered morale, and I felt really bad about that. But I'm not gonna lie, animals have just not been useful to endgame players. to a new player, they are great. This raptor actually did some pretty decent work. I'm not going to pretend like this mission is super difficult or that we needed the help, but I was running low on ammo at this point as I hadn't really spent a lot of time farming. I felt like I could do that in my next game, foreshadowing. But at this point, I didn't have a ton of ammo and my weapons are kind of whatever. They did the job, of course. The sniper's kicking ass. I love it. And I got the Founder's Revolt. All of that is good, but the raptor is just providing free damage. It was soaking up damage from the enemies that I am not taking. It's not a trap that costs anything. It's not a weapon that consumes any ammo. So yeah, I actually liked taming an animal and it did pretty well. In my first Ventures game, you'll see later on, I tamed a boar just because boars will dig up loot for you, which I did not benefit much from in my Ventures game, but it will do that. And it'll actually do some decent damage. And I don't just say that to repeat myself. What I mean is the animals that you tame in game are actually the same power level of the enemies you should be fighting. So they can give you some free easy damage. In fact, if you are not starting on a new account and you're just a regular player who is getting carried in Ventures, I suggest taming an animal. If you're being pulled up to the 140 zones, that animal will be doing 140 damage. I don't know exactly how it's calculated, so I might be a bit off there, but I have experienced it doing way better damage than myself or any of my abilities could do, and I figured that was a really good tip for basically everybody out there.
I'm hired. Good for me.
I've never heard Clip talk before. Yeah, I had Clip muted, or at least I had dialogue muted when Clip came out in 2019. Like, I had already grown tired of Ray talking to me. Level up a weapon. Okay. The one singular weapon in my entire inventory as of yet that I actually plan to use long term is the Founder's Revolt, so that one's an easy solution. This thing actually has legendary item damage as a purple copy. A lot of people don't realize that. It's modeled around the Haywire Storm pistol. That's as close as I can see it, because every Founder's weapon is modeled after something similar. I don't know the drum roll. That was my first example off the top of my head, but I don't know that one. Like the Masamune is the Vinterdex Slicer and the Stormblade, identical stats. It's really interesting. So the Revolt is modeled around the Haywire Storm. So if you actually compare a legendary Haywire to a purple Founder's Revolt, they're the same. I screwed up and made mine Bright Core, and so I'm going to make this one Sunbeam in the future. And AS is saying Terminator. That sounds about right. So yeah, this is a baby Founder's account. I've only got the Revolt, but I will be using that probably forever. Storm Shield Defense 3, we killed the enemies, we shot sploders, and a little tip for everybody dealing with sploders, just shoot their propane. Yeah, they'll blow up, and as long as they're far enough away from your base, they're just not your problem. It won't count as a kill, but it's a really good strategy that'll take care of them at any power level. We also only get one propane during the entire third Storm Shield Defense, so yeah, not too big of a problem. Now, Storm Shield Defense 3 might not have been a hard fight, but I did get my very first upgrade points, and that's where things get a little interesting. I don't have many choices yet, but I got Adrenaline Rush, and I am not going to get Airstrike. It is not something I use regularly other than my decoy Airstrike video. Link to that video in the description down below. I will be saving those points for the important stuff. Pickaxe damage, backpack space, which I can get right now, but I don't need, so I'm going to wait. Also, sorry about my overlay covering up a lot of the gadgets here. I only put one upgrade point into Adrenaline Rush, so you're not really missing anything. I was simply just contemplating future upgrade paths, and I'll try to remember to remove that for the future when we actually have more upgrade points to spend. I actually just opted to save that upgrade point altogether because when I unlock drones in the end, that's what I'm going to really want to be upgrading, and getting the stuff that you regularly use upgraded to the max is more important to me than getting everything upgraded once. It might make me upgrade everything eventually. We'll see how that works out. I don't exactly remember this system. Part of the joys of a new account is seeing all this stuff for the first time in years, so that's my initial plan. Get the Adrenaline Rush right now and then save the next point for something more useful down the line. Now, by this point, I had actually run out of ammo on a couple of weapons, so it was finally time to farm. All I had was a blue Pathfinder Jess, because I started this so late. I don't have any of the best farming heroes, and she's fine. I don't have her upgraded enough for the 50% damage bonus, so my pickaxe is only doing 17% more, which is about 5 damage per hit, but she gets the job done, honestly. I did go around the map looting around, and I even got a level 30 Stormblade, which was actually fantastic. Getting a strong melee at this level was amazing because it did great damage. It was killing everything in like one hit, and it didn't consume any ammo, and I didn't worry about resources crafting it because I didn't. I found it off a glowing animal. So it was just a really nice little farming session, although nothing terribly interesting happened. So there's not really much to report there. And that is it for episode 1. Our next episode will be Adventures. If you guys like this and you want to see more, please comment down below, because it took about 100 minutes of recording to get what you guys saw here today. I really like how it turned out. It's nice and short and concise, and everything is quick. If I went too fast on any parts, or you guys have any notes, comment down below, please. Like the video if you liked it. I really want you guys to encourage these kind of videos, because it's a much higher effort than I'm used to, but it was really fun to record, and I want to make more. So subscribe if you're interested for that. That's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. And then